The Aboriginals are the natives of Australia. They have been around on the continent since around 68,000 BCE. In 1770, Captain James Cook arrived in Australia and claimed the land for the British Crown. 18 years later, the British established colonies around the Sydney Cove. Since then, the Aboriginals have been building up resistances against the British, and the first recorded battle takes place in 1795 and was known as the Richmond Hill Battle. In 1810, the British become dominant in Australia and start teaching European beliefs to Aboriginals and also use them as a cheap labour force. Today, the Aboriginals have to face many different issues, ranging from remoteness to poor healthcare. The Aboriginal people's conditions have improved since the government took action, yet the Aboriginals face so many problems. The Aboriginals were a well-functioning group of people who managed their resources well and had a population of 7,500,000 people to about 1 million people. When the British arrived, then the Aboriginals started to struggle. The population of the Aboriginals has dropped down to only about 60,000 people today. Aboriginals who are living in cities also have problems with healthcare and education. The healthcare that the Aboriginals get now is good, but they still have the highest mortality rate in Australia. A lot of this is blamed on poor social relationships and Aboriginals not trusting the healthcare, but this has been solved through healthcare organisations within the Aboriginal communities. Aboriginal students in Australia have the worst statistics in attendance rate, retention and continuing their education. The Australian government have been improving these statistics throughout time, but there is still room for improvement. Aboriginal people also face problems with socialising. Improvement has been made, but there are still people who suffer from racism and British Australians not being open-minded. These problems have been worked on solving and efforts have been created to help the Aboriginal people, like when the Australian government had returned land rights to the Aboriginals in 1992 and offering equal education, like the University of South Australia, which offers special programs for new Aboriginal students with assigned tutors, all of which is at no cost. Why should we preserve Aboriginal culture? The Aboriginal people were good at adapting to the environment. Aboriginals were one of the first people to use stone technology for different things like chopping wood, cutting or grinding seeds. Music, song and dancing is seen as the core of Aboriginal life. It is passed down through generations and it is taught at an early age. Visual arts are also seen as a core in Aboriginal culture. In the early 1970s, dot paintings became popular and were seen as the greatest art movement of the 20th century. Before, Aboriginal art was displayed in history museums, but now Aboriginals have their own art galleries to show off art created by them.